Welcome back to the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. We have Kathy from New Mexico who is on the line, been holding very patiently. Kathy, are you still there?
Hey, Doc.
All right, good. So here's the deal. I did a really good webinar on heart health, and, you're an insider already, I think, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so, all right. So just my advice would be go into the webinars, go into your insider subscription, find the webinar that I did on heart health, and email, this person. Is it your sister-in-law?
Yes.
Email her a link to it so she can have a sense of not only what to do, but why to do it. And, this is another aspect where the MDs fail miserably. They never tell people why. They just tell people what. And people bow down and genuflect at their altar and that's bad. We need knowledge as power. We need to understand why we're doing what we're doing. You need, in fact, to question the doctor. Questioning the doctor is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And if the doctor can't handle an honest question, they shouldn't be a doctor, for Christ's sakes, or for goodness sake, excuse my French. So what we do here is eliminate the 10 bad foods. Eliminate the 10 bad foods, and then we eliminate the 10 bad foods. And then to support and promote proper cardiovascular function, a very good place to start nutritionally would be one Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, one of those, one bottle of plant minerals, 2 bottles of selenium, and believe it or not, 1 bottle of digestive enzymes per 100 pounds of body weight per day. Per month, 100 pounds of body weight per month. That's a very, very good place to start. But I would add a couple of things to that, given the situation that's at play here. To that package, I would add 1 bottle of multi-EFAs, 1 bottle of multi-EFAs, and 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules. 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules. Now, have them get a blood pressure cuff at CVS or someplace. Have them take the blood pressure cuff to a firehouse when the guys are not out on call, and have the EMTs in the firehouse measure her blood pressure with their equipment and with hers and compare the results to make sure her equipment is accurate. Once she knows she has accurate readings, accurate equipment, I want her to take her blood pressure twice a day at the same time every day, and I want her to write the numbers down on a chart that she keeps up on the refrigerator. And you want to look to see, right, the numbers come down over time, even if she's on medication. And as the numbers come down over time, then she goes back to the medical doctor and he withdraws the blood pressure medication because he doesn't want her to have too low blood pressure, because that's also dangerous. Remember, people don't have blood pressure because they have a lack of hydrochlorothiazide. People have high blood pressure because their body has run out of the nutrients necessary to maintain healthy blood pressure, and taking a prescription medication for blood pressure is like sweeping symptoms under the rug. It doesn't cure anything. It just puts everything out of the way so you don't see it anymore. It's always better to attempt to support the optimal function of blood pressure rather than to suppress high blood pressure with medication. So that's where I would go. Also, it would perhaps be useful as a little bit of pearl of clinical insight here. Look up, do a Google search for circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm blood pressure. Because the body has a natural sleep-waking cycle, right? It's called the circadian rhythm. All living things have it. Plants have it, animals have it, human beings have it. There are different times of the day and night when different metabolic processes inside the human body are increased or decreased. And there are certain times of the day, and I forget what those times of the day are, when your blood pressure is naturally increased. So she doesn't want to be measuring her blood pressure at those times of the day because she'll get a false high reading. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
sure does.
It's a really interesting thing to educate yourself about anyway, the circadian rhythm. So blood pressure twice a day with a good, accurate blood pressure cuff, not during the high peaks of circadian rhythm blood pressure. And, look for numbers to be consistently below 140 over 90, both numbers below 140 over 90. And if she can remember, it's a hard thing for people to do, especially after they come out of anesthesia, but if she can remember what the readings were when they took her in the ambulance, That would be very interesting information for me. That would be very interesting information for me. If you can secure that, that might open up a whole can of worms here, Kathy. I appreciate you. Is there anything else I can do for you?
I'll try to get that for you. I wanted to ask you a quick question about my sister's brother-in-law who just got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Phew.
And she's a distributor also and wanted to get him on the product, sent it to him, and he returned them back to her because he said the doctor said that they didn't want him on any antioxidants while he's going to undergo treatment.
Yeah, that's because the cancer treatment, that chemotherapy, produces oxidative damage. That's how it works. Chemotherapy is like napalm, right? You know, in the Vietnam War, they'd fly over the jungle and they'd drop a napalm bomb and it burns everything. It just burns everything. Burns everything. That's what chemotherapy does. It loads the body up with oxidative stress, oxidative stress, so everything starts to be oxidized and everything starts to be destroyed. That's why your hair falls out. That's why your teeth fall out. That's why chemotherapy can give you cancer. The whole treatment of chemotherapy here is to kill everything in the body, including hopefully cancer cells, take you right to death's door, and then stop the chemotherapy, let the body bounce back, and hope that the cancer cells don't come with it. And that's their therapy. And it's barbaric. It's ridiculous. Why anybody in their right freaking mind would do it is beyond me. But nonetheless, that's the active ingredient methodology behind the chemotherapy. So why on earth would you, if you're giving somebody massive doses of free radicals, want to stop the action of the chemotherapy with vitamins? Because the MDs have their heads up their butts and they're completely clueless about it. And by the way, you know, they should have told him right off the bat that their therapeutics have unbelievably horrible track record for pancreatic cancer. They're going to kill him. But before they kill him, they're going to get as much money out of his medical insurance as they possibly can, and that is the only reason that they are recommending this treatment, because of all of the types of cancer, pancreatic cancer has the worst track record. I'm going to pull this up again for those of you in the viewing audience so you can see it firsthand. This is a comparison between pancreatic cancer survival rates and the general trends in the United States. If he's not at the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, in the first half of the month, only 30% of the people who undergo the treatment survive. After 5 years, only 2% of the people undergoing the treatment survive. And I've been at the bedside of people with pancreatic cancer. It is not pretty what the treatment does to them. It is not pretty what the treatment does to them. It's barbaric. It's ineffective. And the only reason they're recommending it is to eke as much money out of his insurance policy as is possible. It's a crying shame. There ought to be a law, and somebody should go to jail. Thanks for the call, Kathy. I have to move on. Dave in the Thumb. Hey, that's the thumb, by the way, of Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, not the thumb on my hand. Hey, Dave, welcome aboard. You are live.
Yeah, somebody should go to the gallows, Doc.
No kidding. But it ain't going to happen because it's good to be king.
Unbelievable, man. I just, every time I listen, the more I listen to this crap, just unbelievable. Anyway, my buddy Bill, business partner, distributor extraordinaire. Anyway, he's got a venous ulcer. We've talked about it before. He was at the health food store today. You know, he's over-the-road trucker, back home. Truck broke down, so he was stocking up on some over-the-counter supplies, and the guy saw his leg and said, "Oh, you need some Maluka honey on that ulcer." He asked me to call you.
Well, that's interesting. Honey's an antibiotic. It has natural antibiotics in it, honey never goes bad. It's the only food that never goes bad because there's stuff in honey that kills bacteria and microbes. I mean, if you could find like King Tut honey, right? Honey that's been locked in an Egyptian tomb for 5,000 years. And if it was put in there perfectly right and, in an airtight jar and so no air got in there so it didn't crystallize, if you pop the top on that, you could eat the honey. 3,000-year-old honey, no problem, because it never goes bad. It's the only food that never goes bad. So this is a trick that they'll teach you in survival school, that, you know, if you're lost in the wilderness somewhere and you fall down and cut yourself, and that you can find a beehive, you know, and not kill yourself by collecting the honey from the bees, right? If you put the honey on the open wound, it will prevent a secondary infection from happening. So honey is useful in that regard to prevent secondary infections from happening, but colloidal silver is better. Colloidal silver is better. If I had an open ulcer anywhere on my body, every hour I'd be spraying it with colloidal silver. And when I wasn't spraying it with colloidal silver, I'd have it bandaged with gauze that had been soaked in colloidal silver. And I guess if you're covering it with a gauze that's been soaked in colloidal silver, you could spray it with colloidal silver every 2 or 3 hours. That's how I would handle that. I would do colloidal silver, colloidal silver, colloidal silver, and then more colloidal silver externally, while we are attempting to increase circulation and the health of the skin internally. And we do that, of course, by eliminating the 10 bad foods, taking the appropriate healthy pack for body weight and immune support, which in his case would be 1 bottle of Killer Biotic per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And it's never a bad idea with stuff like this to support healthy circulation. And we support healthy circulation with the Ultimate Daily Capsules. If he doesn't have colloidal silver, put honey on it, not a problema. But in my humble opinion, colloidal silver is much easier, less messy, and produces better results here. So that's how I would be leaning. Make sense?
It does make sense. I didn't know all that about the microbial properties of the honey. I knew the other stuff, but my recommendation was the silver, and he just can't get it on enough, you know, on the road driving that truck, and, you know, he's in a lot of pain, and he has to keep it wrapped real tight, and then he can't re-wrap it himself good enough, and, you know, we had him soaking it in, you know, tea tree oil and, you know, putting the silver on it, and he just can't do it enough, you know.
It's interesting, Dave. We're out of time. Bonanza, remember that? God, I love those old TV shows. Walter from New Haven, Connecticut is up next. Has a question about a mouth infection. Hey, Walter, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hey, I had open heart surgery, and then they gave me all kinds of medication. I kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And then I stopped all prescriptions and went longevity. And I got better and better.
Well, better and better is better than worse and worse.
No, you saved my life.
Well, you got to love it, Walter. I get it, man. I'm with you 100%. How old are you?
I'm 82.
And how long did it take for you to, like, you know, get remarkably better? Was it a week? Was it a month? Was it 6 months? How long did it take?
It took several months.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's on, about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah. Well, God bless you, man. That's really awesome. How did you find out about us in the first place?
There was a naturopathic doctor had given a lecture at one of the food stores, and he passed out some material that had that was minerals that were lacking in most people, and it came out of Dead Doctors Don't Lie, and that's when I first heard about it. And I went to YouTube, and I started to learn more and more. I mean, you know, you guys really have the answer. Now I got another problem.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah, my problem is this. Yesterday I had oral surgery.
Yep.
And I just told you my experience with open heart surgery.
Yeah.
So what they did, they gave me amoxicillin.
Amoxicillin, yeah.
Then they gave me oxycodone.
Yeah, oxycodone. Yeah, that's a pain med. Yep.
Yeah,
and ibuprofen.
And ibuprofen too.
Yeah, 600. And then they also gave me PerioGuard, Colgate.
Oh yeah. You must have good insurance, man. Do you?
Yeah, well, I have 100% disability from the Army, so it's all free.
Right.
But I don't want to repeat my previous experience. Now, what I'm looking for is a substitute for, so I don't get an infection in the mouth, and also a rinse that would work for me instead of taking these products. I read the side effects, and I think my worst enemy should take them.
Yeah, no kidding. It's crazy, right? Well, like the fella said, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And, this is all that these guys have. So this is all that they throw at everything all the time, whether it works or not. And this is one of the reasons why antibiotic-resistant bacterial infections are on the rise now, because of the indiscriminate wanton use of antibiotics. Now, look, sometimes penicillin, or amoxicillin will save your life, and it's awesome. And sometimes it's absolutely positively the wrong thing to take, and it's going to hurt you in the long run. The MDs, of course, have no scale to measure that, and they just throw antibiotics at everything. I swear to God, if you took antibiotics and anti-inflammatories, prednisone, away from MDs, they would not know what to do. They'd be running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and it would be a sad state of affairs. So, a good strategy here is to go to the health food store and get an over-the-counter colloidal silver, if you can find it at the health food store, called Argentin 23, ARGENTYN 23, Argentin 23. Now, if you can't find that, find another type of colloidal silver called Sovereign silver. Either one, I want you to take a tablespoon of the colloidal silver, please, and mix it with 1 ounce of water, 1 ounce of, purified water, 1 tablespoon of colloidal silver. I want you to put that in your mouth and swish it around in your mouth like it's a mouthwash. Swish it around in your mouth for at least 1 minute, and then I want you to swallow it. And I'd like you, please, to do that every 3 hours while you're awake for 2 days in a row. Every 3 hours while you're awake for 2 days in a row. And that's going to be better than anything that the MDs can do in order to prevent secondary infections from popping up in your mouth or anywhere else in the body, quite frankly. And also, don't forget, Walter, of course you need to maintain the discipline with the rest of the supplements all of the time. I'm sure you're on board with that, but the colloidal silver as a mouth rinse every couple hours is like gold. Check it out. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the live video stream, the drgliddenshow.tv, the drgliddenshow.tv. And remember, if you like what we're talking about, you're listening on terrestrial radio, then listen during the commercial breaks to the number that your radio station gives out. Call that number. And somebody is standing by right now to answer your questions and give you support with Youngevity, either as a customer or a member of Youngevity. I hope you become a member, but it's not mandatory. If someone in your life invited you to this show, told you about this show, and you like what we're talking about, get with them to understand what to do next. And if you found me all by your lonesome and you want more information, give this number a call, 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. I have team members standing by to hold your hand. Diane from Georgia is up next with it looks like chronic eczema, I think. Hey, Diane, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's up, Diane?
I'm not doing well at all.
I'm sorry to hear that. You down there in Georgia?
Yes.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through. I know what you're thinking. Dr. Glidden, you lost your calling. You should have been a singer. I know. It's kind of tragic when someone misses their calling in life, don't you think, Diane?
No, I think you actually have found your calling.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. Enough of this foolishness. How can I help you?
Well, I have tried the Youngevity products a month ago, and I ran out of money, and I unfortunately did not, budget well last month. So I'm about to order it again, and I just want to make sure I have the doses right. I have chronic eczema that is all over my body, and it's very itchy, it's very painful, and it's very, just inflammation, chronic scratching all day long, all over. It's just so embarrassing, and it's very painful.
Well, I can feel your pain.
But my asthma, it seems, has been diminished because I did give up dairy. I've also given up all of the, 10 deadly foods that you mentioned. And
how long have you been off of wheat?
I've been off of wheat for about 2 months now.
Okay, good. Very, very good. You need to maintain that discipline because wheat is your biggest enemy here.
Yeah, I know.
You need to not even look at wheat. And wheat, they stick wheat in a lot of different things. Here's something I just found out. I didn't know this before, but if you go out to eat at a restaurant or a buffet, or you're staying at a Motel 6 or something and you have their buffet in the morning, the scrambled eggs that they give you in those stainless steel buffet pans? Mm-hmm. Well, the egg mix that the restaurant gets at the hotel is liquid eggs. That's a combination of eggs, water, and wheat.
I don't even eat eggs, to tell you the truth. I'm not a fan. So I really have given up most dairy, like milk. I'll drink almond milk sometimes, but I don't drink.
Would you eat butter?
I have organic butter that I just bought today. Actually, it does have cows in it, but I think I forget what it says on it, that it's different from regular. The regular butter that's not organic.
Well, now what happens to you when you eat eggs? What happens?
I'm not sure, because I know I have a lot of food intolerances. So a lot of the things that show up will probably be 10 hours later. It's hard for me to really know.
All right, well,
I just gave it up because I've been listening to you and other people.
Well, don't listen to other people. Listen to me. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Because if you're allergic to eggs, then you shouldn't eat them. If you're intolerant,
allergic, but I don't know if I have a tolerance.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out here pretty quickly, because if you do not, given your condition, an egg would perhaps be one of the best foods you could possibly eat. So we need to figure out whether or not eggs are problematic for you, and here's how I want you to do it. Okay?
All right.
All right. So I want you to get a pot, put some water in it, and bring the water to a rolling boil. Mm-hmm. Bring the water to a rolling boil in a pot. Once the water is boiling rapidly, you put 2 eggs into it. Put 2 eggs into the boiling water, and then you set a timer for 7 minutes, and you keep the 2 eggs in the boiling water for 7 minutes. Not 6 minutes, not 7 minutes and 10 seconds, 7 minutes. You put the eggs in the water for 7 minutes.
Okay.
When 7 minutes is up, you take the eggs out of the water, you run them under cold water, you peel the shells off, and you put the eggs into a bowl. Now you have soft boiled eggs. Okay?
Oh no, I hate that. I do not like the taste of raw eggs. I tried it.
Well, these aren't raw, they're soft boiled. You can't handle that?
I can't stomach any of it.
Okay, how about, all right, very good. Well, that's, one man's ceiling is another woman's floor, right? Okay, what about scrambled eggs? Are you okay with that?
Scrambled is good.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. Forget the water, forget the pot. So you get a fry pan. You get a fry pan.
Mm-hmm.
And you put that organic butter into it.
Okay.
Turn the heat up really low. I mean, low heat.
Yeah.
Melt the butter. And then I want you to crack an egg into the pan and cook it, over easy. You let one side cook, and then you flip it. And then you cook it on so the egg, the yolk part is a little bit runny. Okay.
Okay.
Are you okay with that, or is that a problem?
I'll put probably some goat cheese on it to kind of mask the flavor.
Can you scramble it up then? Can you scramble the egg up and eat it that way? Is that more palatable for you?
Definitely. Absolutely.
All right. So scramble it up in the butter. Don't put any cheese on it. Just scramble it up when it's in the pan. But
right.
I want you to take it out of the pan while it's still moist.
Okay.
I don't want you to cook it so that it's one big rubbery mass, like an omelet, okay?
Gotcha.
I want it, like if you pick half of the scrambled eggs up with a spatula, the other half would stay in the pan, right? The eggs have to be kind of loose like that. All right.
Okay.
Good. So now we've got the scrambled eggs, and we've got them on a plate.
Okay.
Good. So you sit down at the table, and you have to stay seated for 10 minutes.
All right.
So before you take your first bite of eggs, you take your pulse. You know how to take your pulse?
I do. Yes, sir.
All right. So you take your pulse, and you see how many beats per minute your pulse is. And you write that number down, 71 beats a minute or whatever, okay?
All right.
Then you eat the eggs. Eat them all up. Finish them up. Just eat them and take about 5 minutes to eat the egg, right? The one egg scrambled up is you can eat that in a couple minutes, right?
Yes.
Now, 10 minutes after you eat the first bite of the egg, I want you to stay seated. Do not move. You got to stay in that chair for 10 minutes. 10 minutes after the first bite of the egg, you take your pulse again.
Okay.
And if your pulse rate has increased by 10 beats a minute or more, you have a problem with whatever you just ate.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Now, that's either going to happen or it's not going to happen. If it doesn't happen, then you probably don't have a problem with eggs, and I would start to incorporate them back into the diet. If, however, your pulse rate does accelerate, you probably have a problem with the chicken egg and you need to avoid it. But this is kind of a down and dirty ballpark way to figure this out. Mm-hmm. Because given your history, given your condition, eggs would be a very beneficial thing for you to eat.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Okay. Now, if you're good with the egg, I want you to have at least 2 eggs a day.
Okay.
In butter, and I want you to put salt on them so they taste good.
Right.
You can also put spices like garlic powder or cayenne pepper on it to make it taste better, okay?
You know what? I'm glad that you mentioned that. I could just make a smoothie and throw a raw egg in it and mask it with some juices.
No problemo. If you can do that, then I'm all good with that.
Okay. Let me try that because I am just... fried egg is better than the boiled soft egg, but... You're
a tough nut to crack, Diane. Now, what's your I know, I get it. What's your current body weight?
140, actually 145. I lost some weight.
Yeah, good girl. Okay, so in a perfect world, I would like to see you take 3 bottles of EFA Plus a month. 3 bottles of EFA Plus a month.
I have to order that today.
That's 9 a day.
9 a day. Gotcha.
With food. You want to take that supplement with food.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to see you take, if you can afford it, 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid.
Okay. Gotcha.
Now, that has 1 bottle of the EFA Plus in it, so you would only need 2 extra bottles of EFA Plus a month.
I'm on it. I got that.
And last but not least, it would be...
selenium.
Yeah, selenium. 3 bottles a month if you can afford it. 2's okay. 1 at the bare minimum.
Okay. And I also have...
That's all you need to do.
Okay. I also have lately been losing hair around my temple here and just thinning all over. It's horrible.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure if you register as a Democrat, that'll all go away.
Well, I am registered as a Democrat, but sometimes I do Republican. I'm in between.
That was a joke, Diane. Half of my listening audience just hung up. That's funny. That was a joke. That was just a joke, friends. That was just a joke. Do not. So, all right. So, well, hair loss, we believe that chronic hair loss, anywhere in the body, the first, second, and third thing to think about is your body is just losing nutrients. right? Mm-hmm. Because the hair is non-essential tissue, and the body will rob nutrients from the hair to keep the rest of your body alive. So when people just start losing hair indiscriminately, the first thing to think about is, well, I just don't have enough nutrients in my body, period. Now, with somebody with chronic full-body eczema like you've got, mm-hmm. you have gluten intolerance to the max, and your intestinal tract has been extremely compromised by, just some people are just way more sensitive to this than other people are. So a strategy that you need to bring to bear here is you need to be taking the liquid supplements in dilute doses over an extended period of time. So what I would do is I would put 2 level scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine mm-hmm. into 32 ounces of water, minimum, right. And I would sip from that slowly all day long.
Okay, gotcha.
And I would take my calcium dose in a little bit of orange juice mm-hmm. immediately before bed.
All right.
And if you want to, it would not be a bad idea to put the plant-derived minerals in with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, liquid 32-ounce solution, and then just sip from that all day long. If you extend the doses out over time, it's going to be much better for you given your history. More EFAs. Stay away from that crap. Keep your fingers crossed. Call me back in 4 weeks, Diane. I'll look forward to it. Finishing out, folks, when we come back with Marie. Finishing out today's show, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you learned something. I always do. Let's go to Marie in California and see if we can't help a broken heart. Hey, Marie, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Just to let you know that my husband has congestive heart failure.
Yeah.
And so he has water in his lung. They took X-ray. Yeah. And the doctor gave him the high blood pressure water pill to flush out the water.
Did it work?
Body. But the medication make his stomach really upset and, painful.
Is it flushing out the water? Is it flushing out the water or not so much?
Well, he has a swollen foot. So, that's why he need to, get the water pills. So he took 2 water pills.
Well, did the swelling in the foot go away or has it remained?
Just a little bit. It went away. It got better.
Okay.
It's been like 3 days now.
Okay. So it went away mostly or it went away just a little bit?
Not too much.
Not too much.
A little swollen. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's an indication because if you give that medication to a healthy person, it's going to dehydrate her. I mean, that stuff's going to suck all the water in the body right out. It's going to do that. So if that doesn't happen to a remarkable degree, it's because he's not absorbing it. Well, why isn't he absorbing it? Because he's been following the advice of the food industry for 60 years and eating all the wrong foods, which have destroyed the ability of his small intestine to absorb nutrients. I mean, he's so bad off, he can't even absorb drugs. So same thing killed Michael Jackson. So from our point of view, he needs to stop all 10 bad foods, and he needs to stop that immediately. No crying, no fussing, no complaining. He needs to stop eating the 10 bad foods immediately. You can get that list for free on my website. He has to do that, Marie, or this is not going to work. It doesn't matter how much I throw at him. Unless he stops eating those foods, this will not work. I cannot emphasize this enough, okay? Number 1, stop the 10 bad foods. Number 2, one of the main causes, clinical causes of congestive heart failure is a deficiency in thiamine or vitamin B like baby 1. So he needs more thiamine in his body, and a really excellent way to get that is with Longevity's De-Stress. So I would recommend he take 2 bottles of De-Stress a month. 2 bottles of De-Stress a month. On top of, how much does he weigh, Marie?
110. He's 5'8".
That's easy then. So please give him 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. 1 Healthy Body Start Pack.
The problem with him is, I try to give him the liquid. He cannot take it. He gets diarrhea. So I've been giving him Ultimate Daily capsule instead.
Okay. Well, that would make sense to me because if he is only having mediocre response from the water pill, that means he's not absorbing things, which would also mean that the Beyond Tangy Tangerine would give him diarrhea.
Yes.
So that's a direct indication, again, that he really needs to stay away from the 10 bad foods. You want to get him the digestive enzyme, the ultimate enzyme.
He's taking that. He's taking digestive enzyme. He's taking sweeties. He's taking prostate FX. And he's also taking the probiotic selenium.
Okay, he needs plant-derived minerals to top it off. Plant-derived minerals and de-stress.
Okay, the plant-derived mineral, he's only take half an ounce in the morning. That's it.
Okay, so get the plant-derived mineral capsules. You can get it in capsules.
Okay.
It's called Ultimate Minerals.
Okay.
And give him one of those capsules twice a day.
Twice a day, okay.
And because he's only 110 pounds, he can get away with one bottle of de-stress, a month. Okay. That's really important for him. He needs the de-stress. He needs the plant minerals. And because of this absorption history, man, no kidding, Marie, I don't even want him to look at the 10 bad foods. Try that on for 2 weeks. Give me a call back. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, you've done it again. You've wasted 2 perfectly good hours listening to good old Dr. Glidden. I appreciate it more than you know. Stay tuned. The best is yet to come. This is Cancer Month. We're talking about different aspects of cancer every day, interviewing luminaries from alternative medical treatment circles all around the world this month. Tune in and turn on. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. Live long and prosper. See you around campus.